Part 8. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wu Nian. Chapter 71. You collect some leaves and branches and pile them here, Chen Mu said, stepping on the ground with his wolf claws. The wolves were confused. But the Wolf King's order is absolute. So, the wolves started collecting leaves and branches. It hasn't rained during this period, and there are woods next to the grassland. These things are relatively easy to find. It's getting dark now, and it's getting dark. When the moonlight comes up, leaves and branches were piled up. Chen Mu threw the wood with sparks in it. It didn't take long. Sparks ignited the dead leaves, and flames suddenly burst out. The wild wolves nearby were startled by the scene and backed away one after another. Their expressions were full of nervousness and uneasiness. Wang, this thing is very dangerous. Why did you make this thing? The female wolf approached Chen Mu and looked at the flame with some fear. Some data say that wild wolves are afraid of flames. As long as a person holds a flame, he is invincible. Later, it gradually evolved into that wild wolves are afraid of light sources. These are obviously not very reliable. Of course, flames are not a good thing for wild wolves. Wild wolves are covered with fur. If the fur on their bodies is touched by flames and burns, they will basically die. Even if it was not burned to death at the time, it would still be seriously injured, and a seriously injured wild wolf would die slowly. Serious injury in the wild equals death. Wild wolves are different from humans. Humans can take off their clothes, but wolves cannot shed their skin. Some older wild wolves will naturally have the opportunity to see the power of flames, so older wild wolves will subconsciously avoid the flames. For wild wolves, fire is undoubtedly a very dangerous thing. In addition, wild wolves are intelligent and know that humans are difficult to deal with. When they see humans holding flames, the light emitted by the flames can also illuminate them, causing them to lose the cover of the night. The location is exposed, the hunting success rate is reduced, and the flames in human hands are lethal, so naturally, they will leave. Of course, if the wolves are starving, they are willing to take risks and attack forcefully. Therefore, humans holding fire may not necessarily be invincible. As for the light source, in fact, wild wolves are not stupid. Light can expose the location of wild wolves. At the same time, wild wolves do not think humans are easy to hunt creatures. The exposure of the location and the difficulty of hunting make the wolves really need to consider it. But if the wolves run out of food and encounter a human with a flashlight in the wild, they will not bring food to their doorstep. It is undoubtedly extremely foolish to try to drive away wolves through light sources. Of course, wild wolves don't like flames, and it's normal for them to regard flames as dangerous things. But I haven't reached the point where I'm going to run away when I see him. Chen Mu could tell that the wild wolves around him didn't like the pile of flames. Chen Mu said, "These things are called flames. If you don't touch these flames, nothing will happen. I need them to do something for me." As he spoke, Chen Mu walked next to the brown bear, used his sharp teeth to remove a piece of meat from the brown bear, and threw it directly into the flames. Directly stage a rough barbecue. If you do this, it will definitely burn the outside, but Chen Mu doesn't care. He hasn't eaten cooked meat for a long time. If you do this, it will indeed burn a lot, but as long as there are other places where it can be cooked, it will be fine. He is not a human being, so he does not have such flexible ability to handle food. Chen Mu looked at the other wolves and said, "Tear off the brown bear's meat and throw it into this fire to cover it." Although the wolves are somewhat afraid of fire, the Wolf King's order is absolute. Soon, the brown bear was dismembered by the wolves, and all the meat was piled on the charcoal fire. It didn't take long. The aroma of barbecue comes. Chen Mu felt hungry. He picked up a nearby branch and removed a piece of barbecue from the fire. The other wild wolves looked at the scene with a hint of confusion. They didn't understand the meaning of Chen Mu's actions. Why do this? Obviously, these wild wolves are not good at using fire, and they don't know what it feels like to be burned. Chen Mu looked at the other wild wolves and said, "Just like me, move the meat out and don't touch the charcoal fire and meat." The wild wolves began to act obediently, grabbing branches from everywhere. Over time, Chen Mu also felt that it was almost done. Only then did he start to taste the barbecue. The barbecue was a little warm and the charred parts were bitten open by Chen Mu, and then he ate the meat inside. When I started it, it was warm and fragrant. The aroma of cooked meat made Chen Mu feel satisfied. After tasting raw meat for so long, I finally had cooked meat. Cooked meat is obviously much more delicious than raw meat. Although it was a little burnt, the familiar taste made Chen Mu very satisfied. The other wild wolves watched Chen Mu eat. Although the food was right in front of them, none of them dared to move it. When Chen Mu was full, the wild wolves saw Chen Mu leaving and stood aside to rest, and then they dared to move their mouths. It didn't take long. The she-wolf was full. After eating, the she-wolf took the initiative to walk up to Chen Mu and rub Chen Mu's body affectionately. She looked at Chen Mu and said, "King." Chen Mu said, "How does the taste of this meat compare to what I ate before?" The she-wolf said, "It's delicious." Hearing this, Chen Mu said, "From now on, we will do this with all the food we catch. What do you think?" The female wolf was stunned, and said, "Isn't this bad? This wastes too much time. During this time, it is easy to attract other predators to come and snatch food. Of course, if it is the king's intention, I support it." Hearing this, Chen Mu's heart moved. Yes. For wild wolves, it is too luxurious to make a fire and roast meat. In the wild, there are other predators besides wolves. Like brown bears, tigers and the like. These predators will come to snatch food when the wolf pack is wasting time. Wolves in the wild may even starve to death. Cooked food is an extremely luxurious thing for wolves. Only Chen Mu would think of such a thing. Chen Mu also realized that he was thinking about the problem from the perspective of humans, and the female wolf in front of him, as a real wild wolf, was not thinking about whether the food was delicious, but whether it could be eaten. Chen Mu recalled what he had done today. For cooked food, using control ability to deal with humans, risking exposure, just to get a little fire, isn't it too stupid? The ability that Chen Mu currently possesses is not worth mentioning for humans with nuclear weapons. If necessary, at most, humans can contribute a nuclear weapon to wipe out Chen Mu. If you want to continue to get cooked food, you need to continue to do such stupid things. Too stupid. Chen Mu frowned. Although Chen Mu used the identity of a white-bellied sea eagle at the time, those people would only suspect the white-bellied sea eagle no matter how suspicious they were, and it was impossible to suspect him as a wolf, but Chen Mu still felt that there was a possibility of exposure. It's better not to do such stupid and dangerous things again. Thinking of this, Chen Mu said, "Let's go, let's leave here. The bonfire here will attract the attention of humans, so it's better to leave here first." Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 72. Chen Mu led his wolf pack, hunting and looking for other wolf packs and lone wolves to expand his wolf pack. 3 days later, Chen Mu expanded his wolf pack to 16 wild wolves by destroying other wolf packs, threatening and gathering other lone wolves. That day, Chen Mu raised his head and looked up. A cat-like creature was hanging a dead elk cub on a tree, and its cat-like eyes were looking at this side. Lynx, Chen Mu recognized the identity of this thing. This thing looks like a cat, but its body is much larger than a cat, and you can see the long pointed hair on the tip of the erect ears. Chen Mu recognized its identity at a glance. Lynx. It's hunting our prey in our territory again. The female wolf next to it stared at the lynx. It obviously hated the lynx and said, We don't have much food, but it still comes to hunt our prey. It's really hateful. The distribution range of lynx is the same as that of wild wolves, and their prey is also similar. Therefore, wild wolves and lynxes are enemies. The size of lynx is slightly larger than that of normal cats, and the size of wild wolves is slightly larger than that of normal dogs. But if it is a one-on-one fight, lynx can easily kill a wild wolf. But if the lynx is surrounded by wolves, then the lynx will die. Therefore, it is wrong to say that lynx is the natural enemy of wild wolves, and it is also wrong to say that wolves are the natural enemy of lynx. It can only be said that the two are enemies. The female wolf looked at Chen Mu. The other wild wolves also looked at Chen Mu, the wolf king. When a lynx encounters a wolf pack, it doesn't need to be afraid as long as it is not surrounded. Lynx is good at climbing, but wolves can't climb trees, so as long as there is a tree, the lynx will climb the tree and is not afraid of these wolves. But now it depends on what Chen Mu, the wolf king, thinks. The wolf pack can only wait for Chen Mu, the wolf king, to make a decision. Chen Mu looked at the lynx, and the lynx stared at Chen Mu. If it is allowed to live, will it compete with the wolf pack for food? If the food is gone, the wolf pack will starve, or even starve to death. Then, it seems that there is no second choice. Chen Mu was too lazy to think about it. He looked at the lynx that was smaller than him. Use the control ability. The lynx jumped down from the tree. Automatically walked in front of Chen Mu. Swallow. The lynx turned into golden light and sank into Chen Mu's body. Chen Mu was not hungry, so he just swallowed it. Due to the distribution range and similar food, lynx and wolf have become enemies. Lynx is a very patient creature. It can stay in one place for several days without eating or drinking for hunting. In order to survive, it can also choose to stay in a tree for several days. It is very difficult for the wolf pack to kill the lynx. Of course, for Chen Mu, as long as it is smaller than him, there is no challenge. Chen Mu can now be said to be the real wolf king. He can even deal with brown bears. On this grassland, it can be said that there is no beast he can't deal with. The key to the number of wolves lies in the amount of food. With Chen Mu, as long as they see prey, those prey will come to the door on their own initiative, and there is no such thing as lack of food. So, what Chen Mu has to do now is to snatch cubs and collect lone wolves. However, Chen Mu was very quick. A month passed. Chen Mu discovered something. This group of wild wolves seemed to be a little bit wrong. The biggest thing wrong was that these wild wolves wagged their tails as soon as they saw him. Although it was different from dogs, dogs wagged their tails by lifting their tails and wagged directly, while these wild wolves wagged their tails by hanging their tails and gently shaking them. Although it was different, it still gave Chen Mu the illusion that he had a group of dogs. Could this group of things be huskies that came in randomly? Chen Mu looked at the fluffy hair on the tails of these wild wolves. The wolf's tail is fluffy, and some people like to call wolves big-tailed wolves. This thing is indeed a wolf. Chen Mu was too lazy to think about it, as long as he completed the task. Dogs are indeed domesticated by wolves. But what many people don't know is that they think they are wolves domesticated by humans. In fact, it was the wolves that domesticated themselves. Humans are not dominant, and the domestication of wolves is the result of the wolf's own evolution. Because the main transformation of wolves into dogs is that wolves have the ability to decompose starch and use the nutrients in starch. This is an ability that wolves have evolved in order to adapt to being with humans. From that time on, wolves began to eat the leftover food of humans and became good friends of humans. As cats, tigers, and lions can mate to produce ligers, but because of reproductive isolation, the offspring of ligers cannot reproduce. But wolves and dogs can be said to be the same kind of creatures. Because wolves and dogs have no reproductive isolation, the children born can continue to reproduce. So if wolves can be domesticated into dogs, Can dogs regain their wildness and become wolves? Obviously, yes. The Australian dingo was originally a group of ordinary dogs from other places, but later those who raised them could not continue to raise them. They became wild dogs, and later these wild dogs began to have their own hunting methods, just like wolves, hunting prey through cooperation. For the people over there, the arrival of dingoes is equivalent to the arrival of wolves. If wolves are kept, they will gradually lose their hunting ability, and then slowly cooperate with the owner, adapt to the life with the owner and evolve into dogs. At present, the group of wolves led by Chen Mu are living a life of being kept. And the owner is Chen Mu. The task given to Chen Mu by the system is to let Chen Mu accompany the wolf pack for a year, and at the same time ensure that the wolf pack is not harmed. Then he naturally would not choose to let the wolf pack go out to fight and hurt. After all, he has no way to treat it. Food is basically collected by Chen Mu, and the wolf pack is basically responsible for eating. 2 months later. Something is wrong. Chen Mu felt more and more wrong. Strange. Chen Mu frowned, this is too wrong. As he said, Chen Mu subconsciously turned his head and looked behind him. The number of wolves behind him has increased to 23. However, these 23 wild wolves are currently fat and round. Very cute. But now, these things no longer look like wolves. They are just a group of pigs. When they saw Chen Mu looking at them, the wolves wagged their tails and looked very happy. They are just a group of dogs as fat as pigs. Chen Mu retracted his gaze. Although this period of time is not enough for the wild wolves to evolve, their habits and body shape seem to have changed a bit. It's so wrong, Chen Mu muttered. Under Chen Mu's care, the wolves basically eat and sleep every day, and it would be strange if they don't get fat. Forget it, Chen Mu was too lazy to pay attention. Anyway, it's okay for these things to be fine, and it's all done as long as the system tasks are completed. Suddenly, Chen Mu's pupils condensed slightly. His eyes fell on the front. That is. On the rock, a majestic creature was sitting there, looking at this side. Is this, a tiger? There are tigers in this place. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 73. Chen Mu was a little surprised. For Chen Mu, the tiger was much more surprising than the brown bear. Of course, for Chen Mu, he is not afraid of tigers. After all, with his current ability, his size is not much different from that of a tiger. What was new to him was that he would actually see a tiger in the wild. Tigers are a very unique creature in Chen Mu's memory. It is a lone ranger in the forest, and it is also the top predator in the forest. It is even called the king of beasts by humans. The word drawn by black lines on its forehead makes the tiger's body full of the aura of a king. The momentum of this creature can crush many animals that Chen Mu knows. Among them, the white tiger is a more special existence among animals. Many people think that white tigers are albino tigers, but in fact they are not. White tigers are not caused by albinism, but by genetic mutations, and the chance of this genetic mutation is 1 in 10,000. The tiger looked at the wolves beside Chen Mu. After looking at it for a while, it slowly got up. Then it jumped down from the stone, and then stepped towards Chen Mu. It slowly cracked its teeth and its expression became ferocious. When the wolves behind Chen Mu saw this, they subconsciously retreated. In terms of normal combat strength, Chen Mu's current wolf pack has 23 wolves. With this number, if he were to confront the tiger head-on, the tiger would be unlikely to win. But in fact, in a real fight, the tiger may kill several wolves in a row, causing the wolves to collapse and flee. In the wild, if a wolf pack sees a tiger, their first reaction is to run. Wolves are smart creatures. They are not stupid enough to fight tigers. After all, it is a thankless task. Perhaps the wolves have a numerical advantage and can indeed kill tigers by relying on their numbers and obtain the carcass of a tiger as food, but at the cost of sacrificing the lives of several wolves. For a wolf pack that uses unity as a weapon, it is undoubtedly a huge blow. The wolves are not that stupid. Generally speaking, tigers will strictly defend their territory. If other predators invade their territory, they will choose to kill them. Kill all predators that invade your territory. Seeing the wolves entering his territory, the tiger became angry. Roar, it roared, accelerated suddenly, and rushed towards Chen Mu, who was standing at the front. Gigantic Chen Mu doubled in size. After this period of hunting, devouring, and the ability to eat the same race, Chen Mu's size has grown by a full circle after using the gigantic form. His size doubled in an instant, and he was completely larger than a tiger. The tiger suddenly pounced on Chen Mu, opened its bloody mouth, and bit Chen Mu's throat. Swallow. As soon as the tiger touched Chen Mu, his body turned into golden light and sank into Chen Mu's body. After dealing with the tiger, Chen Mu continued to move forward. The wolves' eyes suddenly brightened as they watched this scene. Although they don't know how Chen Mu did it, Chen Mu really killed the tiger, so that the tiger's territory became theirs. This is undoubtedly an exciting thing for the wolves. King. The female wolf beside him followed Chen Mu. Chen Mu looked at the female wolf next to him. Because there was enough food during this period, the female wolf's body shape was also somewhat round. The female wolf said, "My lord, you are so awesome." She gently shook her fluffy tail and looked at Chen Mu with admiration. Chen Mu withdrew his gaze. Tiger and brown bear are no match for the king. The king is so powerful, the female wolf said with a smile. Now our territory is getting bigger and bigger. In winter, we don't have to worry about running out of places to find prey. Chen Mu replied casually, "That's pretty good." This is indeed quite good. For Chen Mu, as long as he spends a year with the wolves and prevents the wolves from being harmed, then the mission can be completed. As the territory of the wolf pack increases, the range of prey can be expanded, which is naturally a good thing. It's just, Wang, I have a question. The female wolf approached Chen Mu affectionately and rubbed her body against Chen Mu. Chen Mu looked at the she-wolf beside him. The she-wolf said, "Why doesn't the king choose a queen?" It looked at Chen Mu lovingly. It was wagging its tail gently. It was obvious that it was showing favor to Chen Mu and that it was also making it clear to Chen Mu that it was willing. The corner of Chen Mu's mouth twitched, and he withdrew his gaze and looked ahead. "I just want to protect our wolves and keep our wolves from harm. As for other things, I have no interest at this time." He really wanted to protect the wolves. As for why he protects, it is obvious that he is doing it for the mission. But the she-wolf looked at Chen Mu, her eyes full of admiration. As expected of the king, for the safety of the wolf pack, he would even give up reproduction. The female wolf shook her tail, looked at Chen Mu, and said, "If the king wants to reproduce, I can do it at any time." Chen Mu said perfunctorily, "Okay, I know." The female wolf said, "Then king, do you want to reproduce now?" Her eyes shone slightly. Chen Mu said, "No." "Oh." The female wolf's wagging tail slowly stopped, looking a little disappointed. Chen Mu continued to walk forward. But he didn't take a few steps. He noticed that there was a den not far away, and in front of the door of the den, a tiger with black stripes was sitting in front of the den. Seeing this, Chen Mu was slightly startled. As far as Chen Mu knows, aren't tigers all lone rangers? At the same time, tigers have a strong sense of territory and will not allow other tigers to enter their territory, otherwise they will fight desperately and kill or drive away the opponent. But Chen Mu just saw a tiger, and now he saw another tiger, which means that these two tigers are in the territory of the same tiger. What's going on? At this time, Chen Mu noticed that two tiger cubs walked out next to the tiger, and the two tiger cubs also noticed the wolf pack here, and they all showed puzzled looks. Seeing this, Chen Mu understood. So that's it? Indeed, tigers have their own territories, and tigers do not allow other tigers to enter their territories. Tigers that enter their territories will be regarded as invaders. However, the tigers here refer to male tigers. As the saying goes, there can't be two tigers in one mountain, unless there is one male and one female. Male tigers have their own territories, and the territory of male tigers generally covers the territories of one to multiple female tigers. The tiger Chen Mu had just encountered was a male tiger. It was obvious that the female tiger in front of him was related to that male tiger. The two cubs were most likely the children of that male tiger. The female tiger became a little alert when she saw the wolf pack, but she did not rush over like the male tiger. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 74. Any tiger, whether male or female, will defend its territory and will kill any intruder. Of course, there are exceptions. The male tiger will allow the female tiger's territory to overlap with his own, and the female tiger will acquiesce to this. But apart from this exception, tigers will definitely choose to kill other intruders directly. The reason why the tigress in front of her did not choose to rush towards Chen Mu to defend her territory was obviously because of the cub behind her. It was protecting its cubs, so it didn't choose to take the initiative. It stood up, looked at the wolves, then turned back and walked away with the two tiger cubs. It obviously didn't want to fight the wolves, so it chose to leave. Chen Mu's eyes fell on the two cubs brought by the tigress, and his eyes were attracted by one of the cubs. That's a white tiger. White tiger. At this point, Chen Mu did not expect that there would be a 1 in 10,000 chance that he would encounter it. When a tiger gives birth to cubs, there is a chance that a genetic mutation will occur and the tiger will turn into a white tiger. This chance is very small, only 1 in 10,000. It's okay to have nothing to do anyway, why not raise a white tiger? When Chen Mu thought of this, his eyes fell on the tigress. Gigantic. Chen Mu's body grew bigger. Chen Mu used his control ability on the tigress. Under Chen Mu's control, the tigress suddenly rushed towards a thick tree nearby. Bang! Accompanied by a muffled sound. The tigress's head was broken, and her whole body fell to the ground, twitching. After a while, there was no movement. The two tiger cubs nearby were stunned when they saw this scene. These two tiger cubs are very small, about the size of cats. They were young and didn't realize what was happening. Two tiger cubs approached the tigress and nuzzled her with their heads. Seems to want tigress to get up. Chen Mu walked over. King, do you need me to deal with them? The female wolf approached Chen Mu. When Chen Mu heard this, he said, take that white tiger away and add it to the wolf pack, and we will raise it. Raising, the female wolf was stunned and looked at Chen Mu in disbelief. Chen Mu said, yes, just raise it like a wolf cub. The female wolf was a little confused, but this was an order from the wolf king. It can only comply. The female wolf walked over and picked up the white tiger cub. The white tiger cub was held by the mother wolf's neck, obediently and motionless. Chen Mu left with the wolves. The tiger cub that was left behind looked at the white tiger cub being taken away. It was a little anxious and walked around the tigress, letting out a howl. After calling a few times, the tigress still didn't get up, and her companions walked away. It rushed over and caught up with the wolves. Chen Mu looked back at the tiger cubs following the wolves, and slowly looked away. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. White snow covered everything in sight. Chen Mu, in his wild wolf state, was sitting on a rock covered with snow. It looked at the white tiger not far away. Although it has only been 2 months, the white tiger, which is as big as a cat, is now almost the same size as a normal adult wild wolf. At this moment, the white tiger was taking advantage of the cover of white snow, crouching and slowly approaching a snow rabbit. As it got closer, the snowshoe rabbit pricked up its long ears. The white tiger immediately attacked and pounced on the snow hare. The snow rabbit immediately started running, got into the cave in the blink of an eye, and hid. The white tiger's hunt failed. The white tiger used its claws to dig into the hole where the snow hare had entered, and could only dig out some snowflakes. When the white tiger realized that it had failed in hunting, its tail immediately dropped. It turned around and looked this way. The female wolf next to her wagged her tail and watched this scene. It retracted its gaze and looked at Chen Mu beside it. The female wolf said, "Although it failed, it has made a lot of progress compared to before. Take your time and you can continue to hone its hunting skills." When Chen Mu heard this, he didn't speak. But Chen Mu was a little disappointed. He originally planned to raise a white tiger, so that he could use the white tiger to fight other powerful enemies and obtain some food for the wolves, but now it seems that it is difficult for this white tiger to feed itself. However, although he was a little disappointed, the scene before him was within Chen Mu's acceptance range. Not to mention that the white tiger is not yet an adult. Even if it is an adult tiger, their hunting success rate is only 10%. After all, tigers hunt alone and rarely cooperate. They all approach the prey by lurking and then attack. The success rate is far less than that of wolf cooperation. Adult tigers are like this, let alone minors. After the tigress gives birth to a cub, she will stay with the cub for 2 to 3 years. During these 2 to 3 years, the tigress will teach the cub various hunting techniques. During this time, the tigress will no longer be in heat. When the time comes and the cub reaches adulthood, the mother tiger will drive the child away and let the child go hunting on its own, and then it will once again look for other male tigers to breed. Chen Mu raises a white tiger, firstly because white tigers are novel, and secondly because he wants to gain more combat power. After all, catching prey by yourself every day is still too much trouble. Chen Mu spent some time hunting an adult elk. After the wolves finished eating, the 2 tigers were also full. After eating, the tigers, one white and one yellow, were playing in the snow. The female wolf next to her followed Chen Mu and looked at Chen Mu. Chen Mu noticed the female wolf's gaze and subconsciously glanced back at the female wolf. Chen Mu only planned to raise one of the 2 tiger cubs at first, but later he saw that the other tiger cub was following suit, so he simply raised them both. The person responsible for raising them is the female wolf next to her. At first it was clear that the female wolf didn't like the 2 tiger cubs, but as time went on, it seemed to gradually develop a mother-child affection for them. At the same time, Chen Mu also keenly felt that while the female wolf considered the 2 tiger cubs to be her children, she also considered herself to be her husband. And the wolves have already vaguely treated this female wolf as a queen. Chen Mu was too lazy to think or care. The female wolf looked away. These prey have begun to leave recently, and our food is gradually decreasing. Although Chen Mu's hunting ability was invincible, Chen Mu also discovered that with the coming of winter, the previous prey began to migrate and leave here. As the prey leaves, no matter how invincible Chen Mu's hunting ability is, the wolves will be short of food. Now, under Chen Mu's force and food temptation, the wolf pack has grown to 69, plus 2 tigers whose appetites are gradually increasing. Now it can be regarded as an extremely large wolf pack. With so many wolves, they need a lot of food every day. This resulted in the wolves that had been fattened by Chen Mu some time ago and returned to a healthy figure. It's just that this is not a good thing. Chen Mu looked at the wild wolves behind him. When the wild wolves saw Chen Mu looking over, they all wagged their tails happily. Chen Mu withdrew his gaze. These huskies are losing weight, and that's not a good thing. We have to find other prey, Chen Mu muttered. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 75. Through his conscious vision, Chen Mu saw the coastline in the distance. As soon as he saw the coastline, Chen Mu's eyes lit up slightly. For Chen Mu, as long as he saw the ocean, it meant that he could get endless food. In this way, raising this group of wolves would be no problem. Chen Mu looked back behind him. The mother wolf followed Chen Mu very closely. Beside the mother wolf, the two tiger cubs had also caught up. When they were adopted by the wolf pack, they were still young and didn't know anything. They didn't know what happened to their mother's death. When the wolf pack fed them, they were a little hesitant when they felt strange at first, but now they have completely regarded themselves as part of the wolf pack. Some of them even began to tend to the wolf pack and even cooperated with the wolf pack to hunt. If Chen Mu wanted to get food, it would be a simple thing, but sometimes, Chen Mu was too lazy to hunt, so he would hand over the hunting task to the wolf pack. By the way, let this group of wild wolves that are about to become husky exercise to avoid excessive obesity and affect their bodies. Chen Mu didn't care whether the wolf pack could get food or not, but the behavior of the two tiger cubs made Chen Mu a little curious. You know, tigers are basically lone rangers, and they hunt alone, so it is rare for them to cooperate. However, there are exceptions. When tigers are still cubs, they will also cooperate with their brothers and sisters to get food, but the two tiger cubs raised by Chen Mu cooperate with the wolf pack, which is a very rare phenomenon. Obviously, these tiger cubs are quietly learning the hunting methods of the wolf pack. Tiger cubs will start to learn various hunting skills from the mother tiger when they are 4 or 5 months old, and these two tiger cubs believe that the mother wolf who has been giving them food is their real mother, so they naturally learn hunting skills from the mother wolf. And this is not the hunting skill of the tiger, but the hunting skill of the wolf pack, which tends to be united and cooperative. Chen Mu didn't think much and continued to move forward. Dad, suddenly, a milky voice sounded beside him. Hearing this voice, Chen Mu's footsteps paused slightly. He subconsciously looked at the white tiger beside him. The size of this white tiger is about the same as that of an adult wolf, just a little smaller than Chen Mu, who has not yet grown to a giant size. It is looking at Chen Mu with its cute eyes. Seeing Chen Mu looking, the white tiger came over and rubbed Chen Mu's shoulder affectionately. Chen Mu blinked and said, "Were you talking just now?" The white tiger hummed and looked at Chen Mu. "Dad, where are we going this time?" "Huh?" The milky voice of the white tiger made Chen Mu a little confused. What's going on? Chen Mu's current body is a wolf, so he can communicate with the wolf, but he has no way to communicate with the tiger. But now Chen Mu can clearly hear what the white tiger said. What's the situation of falling to the ground? Suddenly, Chen Mu thought about it and he understood. The language translated by the system is not translated by translating the language of animals, but by various communication methods unique to animals, such as body language or other actions, and then all of these are translated into language so that Chen Mu can understand. The language spoken by Chen Mu directly sends his meaning to the other party's brain, so that the other party can understand what Chen Mu said in his own way. At present, Chen Mu's body is a wild wolf. As long as the other party's communication method is similar to that of a wild wolf, then translation can be performed. In other words, the white tiger is now using a wild wolf's communication method instead of a tiger's. The system thinks it is a wild wolf. Obviously, this is the only possibility. Chen Mu retracted his gaze and said, "Let's go find something to eat." When the white tiger heard this, its eyes lit up slightly. "There will be food again, Dad. What are we going to eat this time? We have been eating rabbits recently, and we are tired of eating." Chen Mu's mouth twitched. "Okay, I'll take you to eat delicious food." "Yeah, Dad is the best," the white tiger smiled. This guy actually thinks of himself as its father. These two tigers have obviously been completely domesticated by the wolf pack, and they have completely regarded themselves as part of the wolf pack. Tigers can be domesticated. Some countries allow tigers to be kept, and some families have kept tigers with dogs before. Because they have always been mixed with dogs, tigers become very docile when they grow up. However, in fact, even if tigers become docile, they are still very dangerous creatures. There are often cases of tigers injuring people and killing people. Tigers are large cats, equivalent to a big cat. Even if humans are familiar with cats and play with kittens, they may be scratched by cats accidentally because they are too happy to play. If humans play with tigers, they may accidentally bite you gently during play, just like when they played with their brothers and sisters when they were young, and gently bite off the neck. For tigers, they have controlled the strength, and this strength can only be used for playing with other tigers. But if this strength falls on fragile humans, people will die directly. Tigers can be tamed, but even then they are still dangerous. This is why it is common for tigers to hurt people after being kept for a long time. Chen Mu retracted his gaze. "Mom, I think Dad is so handsome." The voice of a tiger cub was heard next to him. Chen Mu felt a sense of pride for some reason, but then he felt something was wrong. "Mom." He was called Dad. Doesn't that mean? Chen Mu subconsciously looked back at the mother wolf beside him. The two tiger cubs were following the mother wolf and pestering her to talk. The mother wolf said, "Why do you think so?" "Because Dad can grow bigger and can hunt those animals, and those animals are very difficult to catch. We tried many times but failed, but as soon as Dad got close, they came up to die. Dad was so handsome when hunting." The mother wolf was happy. "Of course, your dad is the king of the wolf pack, the most powerful wolf." "Yeah." Hearing this, Chen Mu shook his head helplessly and retracted his gaze. "Continue to move forward. Bring the wolf pack directly to the coast. There is the sea ahead, but the sea is frozen." Seeing this, Chen Mu looked back at the wolves behind him and said, "Stay here, don't go forward." The mother wolf nodded. The other wolves naturally obeyed the orders of the Wolf King unconditionally. Chen Mu walked forward and came to the sea. He looked down at his feet. Through the ice under his feet, he could see the blue sea water below. "I don't know how thick this ice is. Only by breaking this ice can you enter the sea, and after entering the sea, you can get food. How to do it? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first." Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 76. This is not difficult. The sea is right in front of us, but because it is frozen, the ice is very thick, causing the sea to be frozen. As long as the ice is broken, we can enter the sea to find food. To break the ice, we need enough strength. Doppelganger. There is a wild wolf avatar beside Chen Mu. Dad has become too. Seeing this, the white tiger couldn't help but have a little more novelty in his eyes. So powerful another normal tiger cub couldn't help but admire. The wild wolf avatar suddenly turned into a white-bellied sea eagle. The white-bellied sea eagle flapped its wings and flew into the sky. "Ah, another dad has turned into a bird." The white tiger looked at the flying white-bellied sea eagle, and its eyes lit up slightly. The avatar turned into a white-bellied sea eagle flapping its wings, and under the gaze of Chen Mu, it flew to the distant sea. In the air about 500 meters high, the white-bellied sea eagle suddenly turned into a huge blue whale. A blue whale, as huge as a monster, fell from the sky. It looked like a mountain, falling suddenly under the action of gravity. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening roar. The ice on the sea surface was hit by a terrifying impact. The ice broke with a sound. And this terrifying impact force spread to the surroundings through the ice. Just like an earthquake, the whole ground trembled. Boom boom boom. In order to avoid this force from affecting himself, Chen Mu had already let his clone fly far away. But Chen-mu never expected that the impact force would be so great. The whole ground shook. The ice under Chen-mu's feet was affected and broke. Chen-mu's body was unstable and he was about to fall. His body turned into a white-bellied sea eagle and flew up. Chen-mu subconsciously looked back at the wolf pack behind him. The wolves obeyed Chen-mu's order and stood on the distant coast. They did not come to the ice on the sea surface. The ice was broken and the ground under their feet was shaking, but they were not pulled into the sea. And the moment when the huge body of the blue whale broke through the ice and fell into the sea. Boom boom boom. The huge sound of the waves attracted Chen-mu's attention. Chen-mu looked back and saw that in the distance, at the location where the blue whale fell, a terrifying wave of more than 10 meters high covered the sky and the sun, roaring from a distance and hitting this side. This, Chen-mu never expected that he was just going to break the ice, but he directly created a giant tsunami. The tsunami in front of him was like a prehistoric beast, roaring and hitting this side. If Chen-mu didn't care and let the tsunami continue to approach, the group of wolves behind Chen-mu would all die. It's just that the blue whale jumped into the sea from a high altitude, but it actually created such a huge wave directly, Chen-mu muttered. It seems that I underestimated the impact that the 35-meter-long behemoth could create. Chen-mu once again created a clone, 2 white-bellied sea eagles, and rushed towards the huge waves in front of them. Seeing this, the wolves on the coast showed an anxious look. They walked back and forth on the coast, looking at the direction where Chen-mu left, and they were all very uneasy. Ah! Some of the wolves began to howl, as if they were worried about Chen-mu's safety. The Wolf King is the supreme existence of the wolf pack, and every wild wolf has the obligation to sacrifice for the Wolf King. When the Wolf King's position is stable enough and enough to gain the trust of other members of the wolf pack, the life and death of the Wolf King is enough to make the wild wolves extremely worried. Dad. The white tiger also looked at the scene with worry, looking uneasy. Don't worry, the mother wolf also looked a little worried, but she still said, believe in your father, he is the strongest Wolf King. Well. The white tiger responded, then raised his head and groaned, as if calling Chen-mu. Chen-mu looked at the huge waves approaching, and he squinted his eyes. Small waves also want to threaten my wolf pack, how funny. As soon as the voice fell, Chen-mu and his clone sank into the sea together. The 2 white-bellied sea eagles suddenly turned into 2 blue whales. 2 supergiant blue whales, each with a body size of 35 meters, stood in front of the huge waves. The 2 supergiant blue whales suddenly opened their huge mouths and sucked. The huge waves hit Chen-mu, who was a blue whale, and most of the water was swallowed by it, and the rest of the huge waves hit the blue whale. It was like tickling. The huge wave was directly blocked by the huge body of the blue whale. In front of the giant blue whale, this huge wave of only 10 meters was just a small wave. After blocking the huge wave, Chen-mu dived into the sea. Blocked. So awesome, Dad is so awesome. The white tiger's eyes lit up, and his expression suddenly became radiant. He jumped on the shore, looking in the direction of Chen-mu, looking very happy. Ah, the wolves shouted loudly. Translated, it means, as expected of our Wolf King, so awesome. Our Wolf King is the strongest. He is the king of all beasts. So strong, so awesome. The Wolf King is invincible. The wild wolves shouted, they looked proud, proud of the strength of their Wolf King. At this time, the 2 blue whales swam out of the sea again. Chen-mu opened his mouth wide, rolled his tongue, and flicked it. Countless fish were thrown onto the shore from the mouths of 2 blue whales. These fish, big and small, flew into the ocean like heavy rain. The wolves were even happier when they saw this scene. Is this the food that Daddy said? The white tiger looked at these fresh fish, and his face was full of joy. Seeing that the white tiger wanted to eat, the mother wolf hurriedly moved and stopped in front of the white tiger. The white tiger was stunned and looked at the mother wolf. The mother wolf said, Follow the rules and wait for your father to come back. When the white tiger heard it, it hummed and stayed aside and watched obediently. Under normal circumstances, tiger cubs are fed and educated by the mother tiger. During the teaching process, after the cubs can participate in hunting and get food, if there are male and female tigers among the cubs, the mother tiger will generally pull the female tiger cub to stand aside and let the male tiger cub eat first. When the male tiger cub is full, the mother tiger will take the female tiger cub to eat together. But in this wolf pack, the rules are obviously different. Chenmu released his clone and turned into a white-bellied sea eagle and flew back, under the expectant gaze of the wild wolves. Chenmu turned into a wolf and landed on the coast. The wild wolves wagged their tails at Chenmu, looking very happy. The female wolf who had the closest relationship with Chenmu came over, rubbed Chenmu, and said, "King." The two young tigers next to him also came over. "Dad is so awesome." Chenmu's mouth twitched. "These guys." Forget it, Chenmu was too lazy to change the way the two tigers addressed him. Anyway, he killed their mother, so it's no problem to be their father. Chenmu picked a fish and started eating. The other wolves in the wolf pack watched from the side. The hierarchy in the wolf pack is strict. Only the wolf king can eat the food first. If other wolves move, it means challenging the rules of the wolf pack. Obviously, no wolf dares to do so. After Chenmu had eaten his fill, the other wolves began to eat. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chenwu Nian. Chapter 77. The fish that Chenmu caught were actually the fish that were caught by the big waves just now. Chenmu held these fish and the big waves in his mouth. He dived into the sea to filter the sea water through the baleen plates. Then he threw the fish to the coast with his tongue. Chenmu sat aside, watching the wild wolves who were happily tearing the sea fish and eating them with a happy face. In this way, there is no need to worry about the wolf pack starving this winter. Calculating the time, it should be about the same, Chenmu muttered. It has been a long time since Chenmu became a wild wolf. After this winter, the mission will be almost completed. Chenmu raised his claws and looked at his wolf claws. He didn't know what he would evolve into next time. "King," a voice came from the side. Chenmu came back to his senses, but found that the female wolf came over, sat next to Chenmu, and rubbed Chenmu intimately with her body. It raised its face and looked at Chenmu, with admiration in its eyes. Chenmu retracted his gaze and looked at the two tiger cubs who were eating. "Their appetite is getting bigger and bigger," the mother wolf said softly. Hearing this, Chenmu hummed and said, "After all, they are tigers." The mother wolf hummed, "But now we are their parents." Hearing this, Chenmu was silent. Why did he feel that this mother wolf was taking advantage of him? Forget it, Chenmu was too lazy to say anything to it, and too lazy to change the way the two tiger cubs addressed him. At this time, snowflakes fell from the sky. Chenmu raised his face and looked at the snowflakes falling from the sky. Obviously, it is colder here. Chenmu's eyes fell on the two tiger cubs not far away. In such a cold weather, brown bears need to hibernate. But tigers and wolves do not need it. Tigers and wolves store fat in their bodies to resist the cold. At the same time, the hunting ability of tigers and wolves is much stronger than that of clumsy brown bears. Of course, winter is undoubtedly a nightmare for ordinary wolves. When winter comes, many prey will leave. Without prey, there will be no food. If the wolf pack has no food, the wolves will starve to death. Winter is the time when there are the least prey, and it is also the most difficult time for those predators. However, the threats of this season are not a big deal for Chenmu. As long as he is close to the sea, he will have food. Soon, time passed by little by little. Spring came. The snow melted, the grass covered the grassland again, and the trees sprouted green buds. Chenmu, as usual, lay in the grass to rest. The mother wolf sat next to Chenmu, and two almost adult tigers in the distance were playing and fighting. At this time, a voice sounded in Chen Mu's head. Congratulations on completing the task. The current number of wolves is 71, and no wolves are injured. You have obtained 100% of the evolutionary energy reward. Congratulations on obtaining 100% of the evolutionary energy. Start evolving. Chen Mu slowly opened his eyes and stood up. After a year of predation and cannibalism, Chen Mu's body size has grown a lot. His height on all fours is close to 1 meter, and his body length is more than 2 meters. After obtaining 100% of the evolutionary energy, his body size has increased again. His height on all fours is 1.5 meters. At this moment, Chen Mu has completely turned into a behemoth. After obtaining the evolutionary energy, his body is wrapped in golden light. The female wolf next to him looked at this scene, with a hint of novelty in her eyes. The other wild wolves next to him also noticed the changes on the wolf king's side, and raised their heads to look here. Hey, look, Dad is glowing. The white tiger stopped playing and hurriedly said to his brother beside him. When the yellow tiger heard this, he looked towards Chen Mu. Really, Dad is glowing. Chen Mu's body began to change. His huge body slowly shrank. Not long after, the golden light slowly disappeared. Chen Mu came back to his senses and looked around. Still in the same place, this time he was not teleported away. Just. Chen Mu noticed that the wild wolves were looking at him with some confusion. From Chen Mu's angle, he could see that the wild wolves had grown a lot bigger. Chen Mu had experienced so many evolutions and species changes, and when he saw this, he realized what was going on. It's smaller, it looks like it's very small, Chen Mu muttered, and he subconsciously raised his paw to see what he had become. When Chen Mu looked, his pupils condensed slightly. What is this? He waved his paw, which had white hair on it, and black and white stripes could be seen on the white hair. Seeing this, Chen Mu realized what he was. Because the hair was too familiar. Isn't this the color of a white tiger's fur? Chen Mu opened his consciousness and looked at himself from a god's perspective. Sure enough, a little white tiger that looked as big as a cat was standing on the grass. That little white tiger was Chen Mu himself. No wonder those wild wolves looked at him with strange eyes. Chen Mu looked around. The wolf pack has been with Chen Mu for a full year. During this year, Chen Mu has changed many animals. They are smart animals and naturally know that this young tiger is their wolf king. So except for some doubts, they are still very respectful. The female wolf next to them came over and let out a soft wolf howl. The very low wolf howl seemed to be saying something to Chen Mu. But Chen Mu couldn't understand. After all, Chen Mu is still in the form of a tiger. Chen Mu was about to change back to the form of a wolf. Suddenly, a voice sounded in Chen Mu's ears. Congratulations on completing the evolution. You get the evolution reward, language commonality. Language commonality? Chen Mu was slightly startled. What? The ability to communicate with all animals allows you to understand the information sent by other animals and translate the information into words you can understand. What you say will be directly poured into the head of the target you want to talk to, so that they know what you want to express. King, the voice of the female wolf sounded. When Chen Mu heard it, his eyes lit up slightly. Chen Mu is still in the form of a young white tiger, but he can understand the voice of a female wolf. This is the ability of language sharing. Good stuff. Chen Mu was a little excited. In other words, in this way, he doesn't need to change into other forms to communicate with them. Chen Mu said, yeah. He responded casually and said, let's go and prepare today's food. Congratulations on completing the evolution, you get the evolution reward. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded again. Chen Mu's heart moved. This is the second evolution reward. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 78. Congratulations on your successful evolution, and the reward of evolution, ability sharing. Chen Mu heard it, ability granting. The system said in a mechanical voice without any emotion, ability sharing means that you can share the abilities you have currently acquired with other creatures, and you can share and take them back at any time. After this explanation, Chen Mu understood. That is to say, Chen Mu can share his abilities with the wolf pack in front of him, for example, doubling the speed or enlargement. In this way, these wolves can also gain powerful abilities. Chen Mu thought for a while, and he looked at the female wolf beside him. Then he shared the enlargement with the female wolf. The female wolf's body grew larger at a speed visible to the naked eye. The female wolf was slightly stunned, and it looked at its gradually growing body in astonishment. "Ah, Mom has grown larger." The white tiger trotted over, looking at the enlarged female wolf, its eyes slightly lit up. "Mom, have you also learned Dad's enlargement?" It seemed very curious. The female wolf was slightly stunned, then she raised her paw and looked at it, then looked at Chen Mu. Chen Mu lifted the giantization of the female wolf. The female wolf's body returned to normal size. When Chen Mu saw this, he understood, so it was like this. Chen Mu can use his abilities on others, so that others have the same abilities as himself. This is the role of ability sharing. However, the previous evolution into a tiger received 2 evolutionary rewards. A common language, a shared ability. It seems that not every evolution can only get 1 reward. Wang, what's wrong with me? The female wolf looked at Chen Mu curiously. Chen Mu retracted his gaze and said, "I just did an experiment and made you bigger. It's nothing, don't worry too much." Chen Mu took the wolf pack to find food. With the arrival of spring, the prey that left returned to the grassland again. Chen Mu and the wild wolf ate fish for a whole winter, and he didn't want to eat fish again. If there is meat to eat, you must eat meat first. Growing from a young tiger to an adult tiger at a normal development speed, the less abilities you use, the more task rewards you get, and there are no restrictions on language sharing and ability sharing. When Chen Mu heard this, his heart moved. No wonder the system turned him into a young tiger and gave him 2 such abilities. It turned out that it was because of this task. These 2 ability rewards are simply paving the way for this task. That's perfect. Does the young tiger grow into an adult tiger according to normal development? This is not difficult. Just do it the same way as last year. But now that there are these restrictions, it means that you can't hunt in person. However, if you have the ability to share, you don't have to worry so much. It's just so slow. Accustomed to the walking speed of large wild wolves, Chen Mu, who is now holding the young tiger, walks too slowly. It's so slow that Chen Mu himself is a little disgusted. Land is different from the sea. After getting used to swimming in the sea, you can swim a long distance at once with just a swing of your body. But on this land, you need to walk step by step under the premise of resisting gravity, and the energy required is much more than in the sea. Chen Mu subconsciously looked at the female wolf beside him. The female wolf was looking at him. Their eyes met. The female wolf's eyes showed a trace of joy, and said, "King." Chen Mu said, "I'm too slow, I want to ride on your back, are you willing?" The female wolf was slightly startled, her eyes lit up, and her expression became extremely excited. "Of course, whatever the king needs me to do, I can give it to the king even if the king wants my life." The order of the Wolf King is absolute. Under the extremely high prestige of the Wolf King, no wolf can disobey the order of the Wolf King, and even desire to be ordered by the Wolf King. The more useful the wolf is, the higher the status. Generally speaking, the hierarchy of the wolf pack is strict, and the status of the wolf is mostly judged by age, except for the Wolf King. The older the age, the higher the status. After all, in the wolf world, age also represents seniority. Of course, if you are valued by the Wolf King, your status will be even higher. Chen Mu said, "It's not that exaggerated. I'm not interested in your life. I'll make you bigger first, and then you just lie down." Okay. The female wolf doubled its size under Chen Mu's gigantic ability. The female wolf's size is relatively normal, and it looks about the same as a domestic husky, but when it becomes gigantic, its size doubles. At this moment, after the female wolf doubled its size, its height on all fours doubled, its body length also doubled, and its muscles all over its body also grew. Now it looks like a giant wolf. After it became bigger, it obeyed Chen Mu's order and lay down. Chen Mu walked and came to the back of the female wolf and sat down. Chen Mu's size at this moment is about the same as an adult cat. Sitting on the back of the giant wolf, he can sit well. "Get up, walk slowly, let's go find our prey," Chen Mu gave an order. The mother wolf stood up, carried Chen Mu on her back, and walked towards the prey. The wild wolves following behind saw the scene and looked at the mother wolf with envy. After a year of getting along, Chen Mu's prestige in this wolf pack has already reached the sky. The way for the Wolf King to gain control of the wolf pack is nothing more than leading the wolf pack to get enough food so that the wild wolves in the wolf pack can survive. If the Wolf King cannot ensure that the wolf pack gets enough food, the other adult male wolves in the wolf pack will be eager to challenge the Wolf King. As long as they can successfully challenge the Wolf King, they can become the new leader of the wolf pack. But Chen Mu has led the pack until now, and he has almost fed the entire wolf pack with his own strength. In the eyes of the wild wolves, Chen Mu's prestige has broken through the sky. The wild wolves are very respectful when they see Chen Mu. Now Chen Mu, even if these wild wolves are asked to pay their lives for him, these wild wolves will not refuse. Being able to feed a wolf pack of 71 wild wolves through their own abilities is very terrifying. With Chen Mu's prestige at the moment, being able to help Chen Mu is enough to make the wild wolves proud. Therefore, they envy the female wolf. The female wolf was excited and walked forward carefully with Chen Mu on her back, fearing that Chen Mu would fall. Chen Mu didn't care. Even though the mother wolf didn't walk fast, he opened his consciousness field of vision compared to him as a young tiger. Through his consciousness field of vision, Chen Mu saw a lot of prey. The closest to Chen Mu was a group of deer. "Is that a sika deer?" Chen Mu muttered. He raised his paw, pointed in a direction, and said, "Go over there, the prey over there is closer to us." Okay, the mother wolf nodded. Changed the direction and approached the sika deer group. Groups of wolves walked in the direction of the sika deer. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 79. Sika deer are gregarious animals, but sika deer are not very gregarious. Under normal circumstances, adult male deer will choose to live alone. Only during the breeding season will the male deer return to the herd. Except for male deer, which are more special, other sika deer live in groups. Adult female sika deer and their calves live in groups. From dozens to hundreds. The wolves came to the gathering place of sika deer. Chen Mu stood on the back of the female wolf and looked at the sika deer in front of him. This is a herd. There are quite a lot of deer, with visual estimates of hundreds of them. These sika deer are everywhere. Some of them are eating grass with their heads down, while others are raising their heads and looking around. Some of them have already discovered Chen Shepherd the wolves here. They were staring at Chen Mu, their ears raised high, as if they were listening to what was going on around them. Although the deer had discovered the wolves, there was still some distance between the deer and the wolves, so the deer made no move to escape. Some sika deer looked here warily. If he wanted to hunt this kind of animal before, Chen Mu would directly use his control ability to hunt. The current mission requirement of the system is to allow Chen Mu to grow from a cub to an adult tiger at a normal growth rate. During this period, he cannot use his abilities on himself. Of course, he can use them if he wants to, but if he uses them, the rewards for completing the mission will change. Phew. This is not what Chen Mu wants. The best option now is to share abilities and use wolves to hunt. Chen Mu looked at the sika deer in front of him. The relationship between grassland, deer, and wolves is very strange. Deer eat grass, but if there are too many deer, there will not be enough food, and the grassland will become desert because of the loss of vegetation. When wolves eat deer, they can control the number of deer and protect the grassland. Sika deer is a very special creature. The antler we know well comes from sika deer and red deer. Only male deer have antlers, female deer have no antlers. The antlers of male deer will fall off naturally, and deer are the only mammals that can regenerate body parts. And antlers are what humans call deer antlers. After deer antlers fall off naturally, they will grow at a rate of 1.2 centimeters per day. This regeneration rate is very shocking. Because deer antlers can regenerate, humans will raise deer and then cut off the antlers, and the antlers will grow. Keep growing like a plant. Now Chen Mu cannot use his control ability, and the sika deer's speed is 80 km per hour. The speed of wolves is 55 km per hour, but wolves have very good endurance. They chase their prey until they are exhausted before eating. But it's too much trouble. Chen Mu looked at the white tiger and said, "Xiao Bai." When the white tiger heard this, it turned its face and looked at Chen Mu. Chen Mu said, "This time, you and Xiao Huang are responsible for the food for the wolves. Can you do it?" The two tigers are not yet fully grown, but they look almost the same size as adult tigers. When the white tiger heard this, he hesitated. "Can I?" Chen Mu said, "If I say you can do it, you can do it?" The white tiger nodded and said, "Okay. I will do whatever Daddy wants me to do," Huang Lehu said aloud. Chen Mu raised his paw slightly. The size of the white tiger and the yellow tiger suddenly increased, and the size of the two tigers doubled. The height seemed to be 1.6 meters, and it looked very huge, just like a behemoth. "I've gotten bigger too." The white tiger looked at his paws and looked very happy. It looked at the yellow tiger beside it. "You have grown bigger too." Huang Hu hummed. Chen Mu said, "Come on." The two tigers looked at each other, and under the gaze of the wolves, the two tigers stepped closer to the deer. They slowly used the cover of the grass to move closer to the deer. Seeing this, Chen Mu didn't say anything and just watched quietly. The speed of tigers is similar to that of wolves, both at 55 km per hour. Therefore, under normal circumstances, one would first lurk and approach, and then conduct a surprise attack when the distance is close enough. Only in this way can the success rate of hunting be increased. They are so big that they are spotted by sika deer as soon as they get close. The group of sika deer fled. When Xiaobai saw it, it pounced forward. The distance is not close enough. If you pounce like this, it is obviously impossible to catch it. But when the white tiger charged, it was faster than ever. Xiaobai also noticed something strange, but didn't think much. He rushed over, pounced on a sika deer, opened his bloody mouth, and bit out the deer's throat. The yellow tiger also hunted one. Xiaobai's eyes lit up. He looked at Chen Mu and said, "Dad, we succeeded." Chen Mu nodded slightly. "Go on, there are 71 wolves in the wolf pack. To be full, we need at least 20 adult deer." "Okay. Leave it to us." Xiaobai looked very passionate. His eyes fell on the group of wolves and he pounced on them together with Xiao Huang. "King!" came the voice of the female wolf. Chen Mu looked at the she-wolf, who was looking back at Chen Mu. Chen Mu said, "What's wrong?" The female wolf said, "Their speed seems to be much faster than before." Of course it was much faster. Chen Mu shared with them the ability to double the speed. Otherwise, how could it be possible to catch up with the Sika deer based on its size alone? Chen Mu said, I increased their speed. When the mother wolf heard this, her eyes were full of admiration, the king is so powerful. Chen Mu fell into silence. This kind of admiring eyes has been seen too much. Chen Mu retracted his gaze and looked at the two tigers who were hunting. This way, he can save a lot of time. Soon, with the help of Chen Mu, the two tigers, Xiaobai and Xiaohuang, hunted more than 20 Sika deer. The Sika deer were brought back by the wolf pack and placed in a pile. Then the wild wolves looked at Chen Mu, who was still in the form of a white tiger cub. Chen Mu naturally knew what this meant. No matter what form Chen Mu took, in the eyes of these wild wolves, Chen Mu was still the Wolf King. Since he was the Wolf King, no matter what food it was, the Wolf King had to eat it first. Only when the Wolf King was full could they eat. Chen Mu jumped off the back of the mother wolf. Although the mother wolf was a little tall for Chen Mu at the moment, Chen Mu was a big cat now, not a canine. Cats are not afraid of heights and can climb trees. Many people still think that tigers can't climb trees, but this is actually wrong. Indeed, when tigers grow up, they are huge and heavy, so there are no branches suitable for tigers to stay on the trees, but it does not mean that tigers can't climb trees. If humans see tigers in the wild and choose to climb trees to avoid them, they can't run away. Chen Mu landed, came to the Sika deer, and started eating. After eating, he stayed aside and watched the wild wolves eat. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 80. The system's task condition for Chen Mu is that Chen Mu is not allowed to use his own abilities, except for the two abilities of language sharing and ability sharing. In other words, the system wants Chen Mu to experience the life of a young tiger to an adult tiger. Of course, for Chen Mu, it doesn't matter, as long as he has the two abilities of language sharing and ability sharing. He is still the Wolf King left in the wolf pack, and the other wild wolves are his subordinates. By using ability sharing to let these wild wolves gain abilities and let them hunt, they can completely solve the biggest problem in the wild, the food problem. As long as the food problem is solved, other things can be said to be completely irrelevant. On this day, Chen Mu was lying on a tree to rest, shaking his tail. During this period, food came from the wolf pack, and Chen Mu was basically not interested in hunting. He had nothing to do, so he just lay down to rest every day. For a young tiger, climbing a tree is a very easy thing. After Chen Mu climbed the tree, he lay on the branch to rest, feeling the wind blowing through his hair, which felt much better. This mission was very leisurely for Chen Mu. He didn't need to move out to expand his territory, nor did he need to do anything else. He only needed to eat and sleep every day. Suddenly, Chen Mu's sight was attracted by the creatures in front of him. It was a group of sheep. The sheep were eating grass on the tall grassland. For Chen Mu, he had lived here for more than a year and had seen many wild animals. But there were not many animals that attracted Chen Mu. The sheep over there attracted Chen Mu's attention. The reason was its horns. In Chen Mu's impression, the horns of many sheep should be similar to those of cows. But the scene in front of him made Chen Mu a little curious. Because the horns of those sheep were curled up, just like curly hair, but the difference was that what was curled up was not hair, but horns. Is this, Argali? Chen Mu recognized the identity of these sheep. I've seen it on TV before, but I didn't expect that I can still see it in reality now, Chen Mu muttered, slowly lying on the tree, shaking his tail. The Argali is the largest sheep in the world. That's right, although its name is Argali, it belongs to the genus Ovis, so it's not wrong to say it's a sheep. The most distinctive feature of the Argali is its coiled horns. This pair of horns is very huge and grows in a spiral direction. Sheep are different from deer. The horns of deer will fall off naturally, but Argali will not. Their horns will continue to grow, unless the horns are damaged by external factors, otherwise the horns will continue to grow. When the horns of sheep grow to a certain extent, they will pierce their heads and kill themselves. Although this is very incredible, there are indeed examples of people being killed by their own horns. And this is the argali. I haven't seen an argali before, probably from somewhere. Chen Mu shook his tail and muttered, I don't know how this thing tastes, I haven't eaten it yet. Chen Mu got up, climbed down from the tree, and landed on the ground. King the mother wolf was guarding under the tree. When she saw Chen Mu coming down, she looked happy. Dad the white tiger who was resting next to him stood up and greeted Chen Mu when he saw Chen Mu coming down. Chen Mu looked at them and said, there are a few argali over there, Xiaobai, go get one, I want to try the taste. When the white tiger heard it, it hurriedly stood up and said, okay. It looked around and looked at the argali herd in the distance. It ran and approached the argali herd. Chen Mu followed and watched the white tiger hunting calmly. When the argali herd saw the white tiger approaching, they were scared and ran everywhere. The white tiger rushed over. With the help of Chen Mu's doubled speed, the argali herd naturally couldn't run away. The white tiger only needed one bite to easily bite off the argali's throat. The white tiger dragged the argali's body to Chen Mu's side. It sat down and said with a look of joy, done. Chen Mu hummed. He looked at the white tiger, only to find that the big cat was looking at Chen Mu with silly eyes, full of expectation, and its tail was wagging gently behind it, as if it was expecting something. Chen Mu naturally knew what it was expecting. He was silent for a moment and said, well done. The white tiger's eyes lit up, and its tail was wagging even more happily. This big cat was learning from the wolf pack, and it was getting more and more like it. The wolf pack had become like a husky, and this big cat was also learning from the wolf pack, and was about to become a husky. Chen Mu approached the corpse, bit it, and then took a bite. The taste in his mouth. Unpalatable. Chen Mu gave his evaluation. This thing is much more unpalatable than venison. Venison is delicious, and this plate of mutton is somewhat similar to the mutton Chen Mu had eaten before, not as delicious as venison, unpalatable. After taking a bite, Chen Mu gave up. At the same time as giving up, Chen Mu had doubts. Compared with mutton, venison is obviously more delicious, so why not use venison instead of mutton? The reason why venison is not used instead of mutton is that the reproduction rate of deer is very low. They can only conceive once a year, and each litter can only give birth to one child, while sheep can reproduce twice a year, and sometimes give birth to 2 children. In addition, the survival rate of deer is low. They can only give birth to 1 child a year, but the survival rate is still very low. They are very picky about food and very timid. However, the taste of venison is closer to beef, while mutton is obviously not good. But because the number of deer is too small and it is difficult to raise them artificially, so, eating them is impossible. Of course, Chen Mu has no research in this area, so he doesn't know. King a wolf came over. Chen Mu saw the male wolf and said, huh? What's wrong? The male wolf said, we found the body of a lynx again. Before, Chen Mu told the wolf pack that if they found anything in the territory, they should come and report to him. During this period, the wolf pack has found many lynx corpses. This is very unusual. Chen Mu said, take me to see. The wild wolf took Chen Mu to the lynx corpse. Chen Mu looked at the lynx that was starved to the point of being skin and bones, and he frowned. Chen Mu has seen many lynx corpses, and most of these corpses died of starvation. In other words, the lynx has less food. Wild wolves and lynxes are in a competitive relationship. If there are more wild wolves, there will be fewer lynxes. As the wolf king, Chen Mu has helped the wolf pack to hunt too much food and occupy too much territory in the past year. Those lynxes naturally have no food to eat, and without food, they can only starve to death. Forget it. Chen-Mu's eyebrows relaxed, it's none of my business anyway. Even if the lynx is extinct, it will not affect Chen-Mu.